Hello and welcome to Soul Love with Kimness. I am Kim van der Zanden, your host, and I'm super excited to share another episode of Soul Love with you, where we share inspirational and empowering stories from the heart. We talk about the beauty and the shadows as both are part of the ascension journey, to remind you that you are powerful, you are magical, and to have trust in what you feel to be true deep within. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Before we start the next Soul Love conversation, I want to invite you to check out my amazing book, Activating the Flower of Love, a sacred guide for manifesting your deepest desires and highest calling. This sacred book, filled with powerful tools and activations, will guide you to open your heart to the beauty and wisdom within you, empowering you to create the life you deeply desire from the foundation of love. You can find Activating the Flower of Love in all the major online and offline bookstores in ebook or paperback, or you can check it out through my website, kimness.nl, where you can also discover the different ways of working with me and the latest updates on new starting programs. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. So welcome everyone to a new episode of Soul Love. And today I have the honor to share a sacred conversation with the beautiful soul, Angela Chostner. Welcome within this sacred space.
Thank you, Kim. I am so glad to be here. I am so thrilled just to be part of a conversation with you.
Me too.
I'm going to start by sharing my morning. I had no idea. I thought I'd be doing this like at 11:30 at night.
Oh, wow. Yes. It's always interesting. Time zones and...
Yeah, so it was like, and then when I got the call, I was like, okay, I have to like fast forward. But this has been kind of like how my year has been. Everything has been simultaneously happening. Yes. And if there's anything I've learned this year is just surfing.
Yes.
How to roll the punches and ride the waves, because it's been so much going on. This morning I was putting together a post for my Facebook, and it was on my painting Trust. Yes. And when I had created Trust, as one of my earlier pieces, I really thought about my children. My son in particular. My children are adopted, and as a parent of a child who is adopted, you cannot take anything for granted. You have to build trust, and trust comes from routine and predictability. And it's a very slow step-by-step process, because when they have not had that inherent sense of my needs are going to be met, you have to build it from the outside in versus them having it from the inside out. So, and when I reflect on trust, I think about how the most important aspect for us to trust is in ourselves and in our higher self, as the higher self comes down through us. Yeah. And the crazier things get around us, how important that is. Yeah. So, I mean, I was just reflecting this morning how it's such a slow and gradual process. But once it's there, it's like this fire. Yes. And it changes everything that you touch and everyone that you're around. And it's like this unspoken, unseen foundation for so many things.
Yeah. And I think an invitation for this time and space, because it's truly within ourselves. And when we can trust ourselves, and when we have this strong, resilient, I'm all about creating this strong, resilient foundation of love within ourselves. But then we can just say yes to the experience of life. But I love, as you shared, like also how in your family life that you started to build that from the outside in. And I think for a lot of us, like in the ideal situation, yes, when we grow up, we have this strong foundation and we have this loving family that surrounds us and that supports us to blossom into our in the essence that we carry within us. But a lot of us have been so have had many experiences that disconnected us from ourselves, or that felt so unsafe, that we had all these coping mechanisms and these. So in the end, I think also from that, we're all in a certain way rebuilding that foundation from our current awareness and from the tools and the gifts that we currently awaken within ourselves. So I think it's a beautiful invitation. And I love when I see your art, they are like portals. They are guiding us. I don't know if you have the trust piece, if you have it close by to share, but I think if you choose to
Let's
check out her
see.
website and her Facebook for the post of today.
Yes, I've got books that have all of my paintings and poetry in them. Let me see if I can. This is not going to be a perfect version,
Oh, yes. Oh, beautiful.
but you can kind of see it. And the
Yes.
poem that goes with it is Trust. I greet my life with open arms, cell by cell, stone by stone, breath by breath. The slowest path shines the brightest light forward, every moment accounted for and blessed.
Oh, beautiful. So many dimensions in that. Yeah, that's beautiful. But it's like in your journey then for the last year, like what really supported you to come back into that trust and to just surrender to how life was unfolding, like having this conversation in the speed of light.
Yes. Taking risks, doing stepping out of my comfort zone. It's scary and exciting at the same time.
Yes.
And so I can look back on like the very first time I did a solo art show. I'd never done it before, you know. And so I just figured things out bit by bit. And I am so blessed to have so many amazing, wonderful women friends. And I keep making more. And that is just such a joy on this journey. And whatever I learn, I share. I keep going.
Yes.
And being one of the biggest things was doing the multi-author book with Mary Gooden and Divine Destiny Publishing. Yes. And that book just came out in paperback. That's this one right here, Shine Your Soul Light.
Yes.
My whole story's in here.
I love that. Yes, yes. And she is the same author of the Soul Love book that is inspired by this podcast. So I love that. That's beautiful. Yes, it does something with you when you write your story onto paper and it gets into a tangible book and the layers we get to uncover within ourselves by sharing our story that will be in this tangible form for whatever, because it's like
absolutely. Yes. Well, when I write my poetry comes when I'm creating my paintings. I always meditate, reflect, whatever comes to me, I write down. And then I take the essence of those meditations and prayers and I create the poem that goes with the art. And so you're just getting like, it's like light hitting water and giving you the little sparkles of light on water when I'm writing the poetry that goes with my paintings. And writing my story was very different because I had to go into a deeper place and combine, my inner world and my outer world and how those interacted with each other and informed each other.
That's from a more personal level, even like the other ones. Yes, they flow through you, but you can in a way distantiate yourself more from that. And now you're in this story really writing your heart authentic experiences. Yeah, I get that.
And a similar thing between my art and writing the story is my very first art show, and this was back in 2017 when I finally had the guts to show my work. And my friends were like, it's taking over your house. You're gonna start showing people.
Yes.
So when I finally did it,
was overflowing.
Yes, it was completely overflowing. Yes. And so when I finally did it, what really stuck with me is these things were so personal. It was like putting your guts out on the wall, yet people were relating to it because when you go deep enough on a personal level, it becomes universal. And that became very clear.
Yes.
And so, and I felt the same thing writing my story. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so personal and this was so painful. Yet I know that there are other people out there who've had these experiences and have had these feelings too. And it's really affirming to know that we're not alone. And sometimes it's in sharing our stories that we really are able to come to that place.
Yeah, it truly is. Yeah. And knowing that like we hold the power within us to overcome any challenge that comes on our path. But sometimes we need these reminders, or we need these inspirational
Yes.
stories, or the moments we are in this chaos, or we are in this
Yes.
cloud of limiting beliefs and thoughts. It's good to
Yeah.
have this thing on our horizon that lights our world. And I think that's beautiful.
Yes.
So I celebrate you
Absolutely.
for that,
Thank
sharing your
you.
story and stepping into, because each time, like sometimes it looks easy from the outside, but each time we do
Mhm.
something new, so it is inviting us to grow into our next level, also with this podcast and with the book and with your creations
Yes.
and bringing that out into
Yeah.
the world. But I love, as you shared also with your first art exposition, like we learn as we say yes, because the next step will reveal by the moment we say yes, and we're just brave enough to discover whatever is needed. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but it is through the
Yes.
experiences. So it's, yeah, but again, that comes back what I love at the beginning of our story: trust. Because when we
Yes.
can trust in ourselves, we can just say yes to the unknown, and yes to the adventure, and yes to the next steps, whatever is coming, and fully embrace
Yes.
life. Yeah, I love that.
Absolutely. Well, and one of the new things I did this year, I had a solo show in April, and it went for 3 months. And I included all kinds of events in the gallery around the theme of my show, which was belonging. So I had sound baths and meditations, and I had an interactive piece of art as well. And when I created the pieces, I added drums because I felt like belonging was the heartbeat of humanity. And so it was kind of like an echo throughout it. And recently, talking about the yes, I
Yeah.
created another one of my drums. It's an ocean drum, and I call it the ocean of yes. And I'm going to share it with you.
Yes, I love that. Yes. Oh, wow. That one is a drum. Oh,
Yes. So
wow.
this is a
Thank you.
drum. It's an
Yes.
ocean drum
Oh, wow.
over here. And
Yes.
it's like,
Beautiful. Yes. It's very beautiful. Yes, I love
thank
that.
you.
Yes. But there's like when I look at your artwork, there's a whole different dimension beyond what we can see with our eyes and what we can feel with our senses. And I love, and I can only imagine when you then interact with this drum, it's like activating this. Yeah. And do you create these paintings from the inspiration, or do you also create them for certain souls when they have a certain quest, or certain, or is it more like for
It's
you? But
actually both.
yeah.
I do commissions of energy portraits. So I've done
Yes.
family energy portraits, I've done
Yeah.
them for individuals. And it's very similar to the approach that I do to my art. All of my art is based in virtues or universal principles like gratitude, trust, um, all of those all kind of come into play. And when I did a show like Belonging, within Belonging, I think about those virtues that come in to create that sense of belonging. And at the time, I realized that belonging is a structure, and the highest form of belonging is love, because not all forms of belonging are healthy.
Yes, no, that's true. Yes.
And so what I understood, and whenever I do this, I'm always learning in the process of
Yeah.
creating. It's always this dialogue between me, or this dance
Yeah.
between me and the painting and what I am creating.
Yeah.
And I realized that if love is the highest structure, that's what comes first. And then the next piece is we belong to love, then we belong to each other. And that's learning to connect. And it starts when we're young and within our family systems.
Yeah.
And then the last piece is we belong to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when we come to that place where we can actually belong to ourselves, all other aspects deepen. Our ability to love each other deepens. Our ability to understand love and be a reflection of love deepens.
Yeah.
And so that was the center of it.
I love that.
Of it
Yeah.
all.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, I also love, as I hear your story, like, because all of this creation, this whole birthing of your body of work that you're bringing into the world, it was created from a challenging moment, or it was created from, and it is a reminder that sometimes life can challenge us to awaken a certain spark within us, or to awaken a certain remembering of what we are here to bring. And I love how, because it's truly when we're saying yes to our inner calling and to our soul guidance, it supports us every step of the way. But we learn through saying yes, and through, I see that as well with each journey I'm creating or I'm being guided to bring into the world. I learn as well. I spiral each day through my own book, through the teachings, through the codes of love, to learn new things. And I love that we're never done learning. We're always like a student of life, and it's just embracing the expandedness that we get through those experiences and through us saying yes and through us creating. Because I think there's something magical happen when we create something, and it can be through sound or paintings or in any way, but it's anchoring more of our light, and by that also the awareness comes of what we're here to bring and a deeper understanding. Because that's what I noted, and that's what I love with your paintings and what you were sharing. Like the moment you chose to anchor them, suddenly this whole new awareness opens up about the foundation being love. And when we are love, when we are truly allowing love in, how that ripples out in all the areas of our lives and how it empowers us. But it starts with the first stepping stone. And if we never take that, it's like, yeah. So I think that's very beautiful.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, in the beginning process too, it was just really, I just felt like I was losing myself as a mother of two young kids, and my son was especially struggling, and so it was very hard to do any kind of self-care. And my artistic creative self just had gone to sleep essentially. And so I decided I had to go back and find that spark within me. And it started with learning Reiki, because that was a healing modality that would benefit my entire family. Because when you are a vessel for Reiki, you also are blessed by it as well. And then I started reading Mary Papalow's family book of virtues and using that in my parenting. And so I really wanted to combine the Reiki and the virtues and create one of the first paintings was Unity, because I felt like, our whole family was just like all moving in all these different directions. And that's what I knew would help us all. And so that very first painting of Unity, I used prayer, I brought in Reiki, I just really focused on what the essence of Unity was. And I can show you that one. Give me just a minute.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I will share a little bit, because I noticed in my own journey that I'm also a young mom. So I have two young girls, and it's really like as I embody these higher frequencies, and as I am more centered within myself, that also contributes to the whole family, and that contributes to their experience and the dynamic. Wow, I love it.
I think that's probably, this is a print of the original.
Yes. Wow. It has the groundedness, the centeredness, the love, the spirals.
Yes. And there's a little apple tree at the bottom.
Yes, I love that. Wow. Yes.
My children are from Kazakhstan, which is where apples come from.
So. Oh, that's beautiful. Yes. Yeah. But I think for every young parent tuning into this, like there's something like even for me, like my days are busy bringing the girls to school and serving my mission and all of that. But it's taking, and I don't do it every day, but I notice the days where I even take 5 minutes in the morning when they are to school, and then center myself. The whole day goes differently, and our dynamic is differently, and we hold so much codes within us, but it's not in the judgment of others or in the it is within ourselves. And when we, especially as a mom, I feel like we're holding this template of our family. And when we can center within ourselves, and when we can nurture ourselves, even if it's for 5 minutes, that ripples out in all the day experiences, and suddenly things go fluently, and there's more openness and love and unity as you share. But it starts within. And I love, as you shared, like starting with Reiki, because the moment you embody that, and the moment you work with that, it ripples out through your experiences. But it's also coming more in inner peace by that, because you're centering and so there's so many beautiful tools. And we can always say like, oh no, I'm too busy, but you're never too busy to take 5 minutes, because by that the rest of the day goes more fluidly, and we can say, oh, I have all these things to do, but it's just that little moment of realignment that just creates, not even, and for you, I love your example, like it creates this whole inspiration, and it creates this whole flow of all the artwork you're bringing into the world. And And it's realigning our to our mission, because that's what I noticed. Like my girls are now 7 and 8, so they're young, but I've created birthed the whole lineage through that. So it's never like an excuse that there's no time, because that's what I notice when you are in alignment. It just flows. And yes, of course, we get challenged and we feel the fear of growth and expansion, but things just happen in magical ways when we are in this alignment, and the universe supports us, and our children feel that when we are in this state of joy and yeah, of what we are here to bring. So I don't know how that was for you to because I think also for your children, like seeing that example of expression, of allowing this creativity to come through, will also give them an example of how they can express themselves and their emotions, and to have this outlet of, yeah.
Well, absolutely. What we model is really important. And it's almost as if how we handle the hard stuff is even more important, because we're showing them that they can do hard stuff too.
Yes. Yeah, I love that.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
That's such an important key. Yeah. The resilience. And again, the trust in, also showing, I share sometimes with my girls when I'm doing something that I find scary, but I'm still doing it because I feel in my heart, and I share with them like, this is my next step, because the moment they are going to do something scary at school, it empowers them to face their fears with love and with compassion, not with but yeah, that's
absolutely.
yes.
Yeah.
It is learning about how emotions work, and that we don't have to be afraid of what we feel within ourselves, and what our emotions trying to share with us in our body and our senses. And it's coming back to the essential elements of our being. And when they already learn that when they're so young, you just see how they evolve in that. Yeah.
Well, and they already have a innate understanding and knowledge, and it's more. And definitely being a parent, I believe we're learning just as much as they are. Yes. We're both growing in our own way through our interactions with each other, most certainly. Yeah. I was, before motherhood, I had so much more time.
Yes.
And energy, but it's just like, it shifts how you think about the world, how you think about yourself, and how you spend your time, what your priorities are. Yes. That and when you're talking about trying to find even 5 minutes for yourself, when I feel overwhelmed, I always just stop and think about what are the essentials, what stuff can take care of itself. And I always pray for help.
Yes,
that is a nonstop constant, always asking for the help, because it's there.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, that's a beautiful key. Asking help to the universe, to God, source, whoever you feel guided and called. And then what I love about that as well, because that's what I noticed within me, and just in general, when we ask questions, ask support, ask questions, we open the field, and we're suddenly tapping into this infinite possibility energy instead of in the contraction. Because like I love how it creates this openness in our field to receive support, but also to receive inspiration, or just so that's a beautiful gift. So what is yes.
Oh, sorry. Puzzle just wanted to come up and say hi.
Yes. Beautiful. Some cat energy coming in. Yes.
She's definitely a studio cat.
Yes. So for everyone tuning in, is there a beautiful, empowering message you want to give them from all you've experienced and your experience the last year, and stepping into even more trust and inner guidance?
I feel like, for me, it's been very important to clear the deck. I'm just trying to take care of loose ends, resolve things, because I want to start the new year fresh. I'm ready to create a big space for big things to come in. And so I'm clearing the deck.
Yes, that's beautiful. Yeah, and a good moment for that, because it's the solstice. So the solstice is completion of cycles, and then creating space. Yes. I love that. Yes.
And the other piece really does come back to trust.
Yeah.
And when it's scary and it feels unsure going forward what to do, I recall all the other times that I didn't know, but I used trust, and then beyond my wildest dreams.
Yes.
things would just fall into place.
Yes, I love that.
So, yes.
I think over the course of this podcast as well, we had many conversations about our sacred yes. But when we follow that, beautiful things open up. But it is the first initial yes we feel, the excitement in our body and in our hearts, not the mind chatter that then follows that tries to do the same. But when we trust and leap beyond then the fear, beautiful things open up. And yeah, I think it's invitation. But I also feel like with the year that is to come, like we're all being invited to complete cycles. Like it's like also the energies, the galactic energies that are coming, the sun codes that are coming forward, they're all triggering the shadow or the old that is no longer in alignment. And it's just an invitation to center within ourselves in trust and in love, so that all these parts that are ready to resolve and to harmonize, so that we can elevate into our next level. And it's really what I like. It's being honest with all the elements of our being, so that we can truly elevate. Because if we push parts of ourselves away or neglect, and I think that's really the invitation of this time for every one of us. We'll know, everyone will feel that in their own way, time is speeding up, and suddenly as you share, a lot of things happen at the same time. But it is an invitation to connect even deeper within and to shine our light in more beautiful ways. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your beautiful work, for stepping into the light. So I would say, if you want to learn more about Angela, check out her website and her Facebook and all the beautiful ways she's sharing her wisdom in the information below. And thank you for sharing this sacred conversation and your light, and looking forward to witnessing you in what you're about to create, all the magic of 2024. So thank you for...
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you as well. And everyone tuning into this podcast, thank you. I wish you beautiful holidays, because this is going to be the last one of this year. Sending you much love and blessings, and looking forward to seeing you in the new year. So for now, much love. Thank you for joining this episode of Soul Love. If you want to find out more about what we do, you can find it below. And I'll see you in the next episode. Much love.